Hi, I'm Thel Roundtree, and I'd like to welcome you to today's podcast. Welcome to the HowAudio.com podcast. In this edition, Rochelle Rendine will be checking in with us for a sneak peek of her Finale 2007 title. A little bit later on, we'll be checking in with Bobby Hartree for some cool tips and tricks on guitar effects pedals. But first up is Rochelle with Finale 2007.
Let's talk about the tap mode within hyperscrbe. All right, I've created this document in G, and I have created a pickup note. My pickup note is just a quarter note, so I need to remember that when I'm working with hyperscrbe. I click on the hyperscrbe and go up to the menu. The beat source, I've changed it. Before it was on playback or click, which would mean, we watched that in the last video. You can watch it in the last video if you'd like. This time we're going to choose not external MIDI sync, we're going to choose tap. And we are going to listen to what we'd like to use as our tap source. What this means is that a tap will be the beat. We won't have to follow someone else's beat. We can go as fast or as slow as we want in recording this, but we have to give it some idea of where the beat is. So I'm going to choose listen, and I'm going to play a C. There it is. It gives the MIDI note and the channel. Now, here's the deal. You could do it in C, but because it's in G, I'm going to change it to the key of G. So I'm going to listen again, and I'm going to play the low G. There, it changes the MIDI note to 43. I want the tap to equal a quarter note. And here you can have it state something else, but I'm just, for basics, we're just going to leave it here on quarter note. Hit OK. And click in the first measure. Now it's waiting. It's waiting for those clicks to happen on the keyboard, at the MIDI source. So I'm going to tap it 3 times for those first 3 beats, and then I'm going to play my tune, whatever it might be. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Let's click out of it. Worked well. Now, let's say that, I just need to go a little bit slower. Let's say I have a lot of notes to play and I want to make sure that they're accurate. So we click here and I play my tap. As soon as I play my tap, it's counting because it has no extra notes there. That's the difference between, we have no click off or count off for ourselves. And I held that G while I tapped. And I didn't do very well. And you know why this is? Because the quantization settings are inaccurate. So let's choose to delete that. Backspace. Go up to hyperscrbe. Record mode. Options. Quantization settings. It's only to an 1/8 note. So the lowest note that it's going to, or the lowest note duration it's going to allow you to do is an 1/8 note. I need to switch that to 16th notes. I don't need tuplets. I want them to be even. I don't want to mix the rhythms, and we could choose to do that, but I'm just going to hit OK. Hyperscrbe. Here we go. Half note. There we go. Let's check it out now. Oh, isn't that nice? Turned out so nicely, and even my half note, it carried it over because I was only supposed to be a quarter note. Finale is that way. It is intuitive. It will, if you do something like that, it will add a note on. Let's talk about another way that we can do hyperscrbe. We're going to tap. This time we're going to use the standard sustain pedal. Let's say that you need to use 2 hands. So I'll select that, hit OK, and go back to here, record mode. I want to split it into 2 staves. I want to have the MIDI note split at the B below middle C. So I'll hit listen, 59, hit OK. And now click on this beat. And remember, let's check to make sure that we know what our beat source is. It is a quarter note. So let's hit OK. Click here. All right, we'll need to make sure that we tap before we play. If we play and then tap, it will read it as a rest. So we have to first tell Finale to listen to the information. So here's the first tap. Let's take a look. There we go, pretty close. I need to just make one adjustment, speedy entry, shift arrow over. And I want to play, actually, I want those notes, I just don't want them all these ones. So we're going to go equal, which will get rid of the ties. Delete, delete, press 6, and the last note, I want a whole chord. So I play the chord on the keyboard, hit enter, and there we go. Now I could change the split source. See, I would kind of like to have the A on the top staff. So let's quickly try to do that. Delete, mass edit, delete, and let's try it one more time. But first we need to tell it where that split point is. So I'm going to play A, hit OK. Let's try it again. Press the tap and then play the keys. Let's see. That's pretty good. That's just that first little beat. Let's delete, delete, and press 6 for a half note. Shift arrow down, shift arrow over, delete, delete, and press 6. Now we have hyperscrbe. Transcription mode is another option we're not going to talk about. You can definitely go to the help menu and read about that.
Thanks, Rochelle. Now we'll be checking in with Bobby Hartree for some cool tips and tricks on the amazing guitar effects pedals he uses in his studio.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about some additional pedals I use in recording situations in addition to my regular board that I use in live situations. There's a few favorites that I have. There's so many great pedals, both vintage, old pedals from the 60s and 70s, and then brand new boutique pedals out on the market. There's many more than we could ever use, but I have a few favorites, and I'm going to go through them. This one here is called the Sequoia. You almost have to just hear it to really appreciate it, but you can create these sequence patterns of different levels of envelope. It's almost like having several wah pedals all in series, and you can create these rhythm patterns where these different wahs open up at different intensities. Pretty interesting pedal. All right, next I'm going to talk about the ZFX Sequoia, which is it's a pretty interesting pedal. It's pretty unique. It basically you have control over all these little. They're like little wah envelopes that you can set at different intensities, and then the little knob on the corner here is a speed. So you can create different rhythmic patterns, and then you have this toggle switch here, which allows you to select between just 4 of these little pots, or 6, or all 8 if you put it in the middle. So you can get these different patterns. Right now it's on all 8. I could switch it to 4 and it'll change the rhythmic pattern. Then if we take some of these and make them a little more extreme, put it back on 8, it'll be even more pronounced. So there's really endless different rhythmic patterns you can set up with the thing. It works really well with delay too, if you run a delay after it.
Thanks, Bobby. We'll be seeing more of Bobby in future podcasts. Well, that about wraps it up for this edition of the howaudio.com podcast. Be sure to visit us on the web for all your audio and music software training needs. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.